10 things I wish I'd known as a bondage top. 10 things I wish I'd known as a bondage top. I've been rigging rope in the scene since 1997 or so, and I wish, number one, that I had known that just because I'm into bondage doesn't mean I have to be into every single type of bondage. There's chains, and there's rope, and there's sensual play, and being a sadist. Within rope, there's Asian aesthetic work and Western aesthetic work. There's handcuffs and heavy posture collars and all kinds of other stuff. Just because I'm into mummification doesn't mean I have to be into all the crazy fancy rope corsets. And any path we take is okay. Honestly and truly, if what charges you and gets you going is a pair of leather cuffs, awesome. Own it. That is bondage. Which gets us to number 2. You don't have to know large amounts of technique to be a great bondage top. I was convinced that if all I knew how to do was tie a wrist cuff on somebody and lash them out onto a bed, that clearly I was not actually a bondage top. It's not true. If you desire to take a pair of handcuffs, attach somebody's wrists together, and the quote, if that is it, you're a great bondage top. You can enjoy bondage fully. You don't have to know how to do a suspension. In fact, there's this myth that happens that somehow, unless you know how to do all the crazy poses and the fancy ties, that somehow there's a graduation system that you, this is number 3. There's no graduation system. There's no, this is better, that a real top gets to this skill set, that suspension is the be-all, end-all of everything. It's not true. I wish I had been told that, no, really, sometimes people start learning suspension early on. They learn how to use a pair of leather suspension cuffs, flip people upside down in the air with an inversion table. That's the first thing they do. There's other times where the first thing someone does is learn a pair of rope cuffs and tie someone down to a bed, or twist them into crazy positions. There's no freshman year, junior year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year ties. It doesn't work that way. There are things that are more advanced technique and safer technique, but you're not somehow better, and you're not somehow more evolved if you know how to do certain types of techniques. There are harder techniques, but it certainly doesn't make you a better bondage top. Some of the best bondage tops I know are people who know how to do one tie, who know how to do this really well, and do it while looking in their partner's eyes with authentic connection. I wish I'd known you didn't have to be rich to do bondage. That yeah, it's really fun to collect all of the fancy things, and there are some rope that, no, it's authentically and meant to be $1.50 a rope, or whatever it's rating for nowadays, wherever you are, but that really you could have fun with bondage. Going to a hardware shop and buying 100 feet of mooring line. That you can have a really great time with a silk tie you got from a garage sale. That you can have a really great time at whatever level you're at. That you can have fun playing with the $500 hood, or getting a set of pantyhose, cutting the leg off of them, pulling it over someone's head. You can have a great time either way. Number 4, you need to connect. I touched on that a little bit already, but I can't say it enough. Connect, 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 connect. I wish I'd been told at the very beginning, I wish I'd been told that I could take a single piece of rope, wrap it around somebody's body, pull them in tight to me, kiss them, and that I will be an amazing bondage dog, more so than knowing 4,000 times. Taking a minute in the middle of my scene to catch their eyes, walk, stare, be. That's where the juiciness is. That's taking a piece of rope and letting it dangle and being, feeling their heartbeat, letting them feel yours. That, I wish I'd known, was far more important than all the fancy ties. Number five. Tops need to stretch. I have lifted somebody in the air and my shoulder has started to dislocate. I have left abrasions on my hand. Tops, stop hurting yourselves, right? Stop dislocating your wrist and stop. I wish I'd been told to actually stay on top of my asthma instead of ending up having breathing problems in the middle of scenes. Please, take care of your bodies. Stretch. Do all the stuff you need to do. Please. Number five. Stretch. Take care of your body. I wish I'd been told early on to stay on top of my asthma concerns instead of ending with breathing techniques. I wish I'd known to be able to brace my body better before I'm lifting someone up in the air so that I didn't have my shoulder pop out of socket. I wish I'd known in taking care of my body to hydrate more, to eat a full meal instead of eating a handful of crackers and some chocolate off the snack area at the play party. I wish I'd been told to pee. Before your scene, just go pee. Just pee. Seriously, if I could actually tell you nothing else about being a great bondage top, it's pee. Tops, you can say no. I wish I'd been told early on that I can honestly and authentically say, I'm really not in the mood to play with rope tonight, but thank you for asking. I wish I could say, you know what, I really like throwing rope around with long-term friends, but thank you for asking. I really wish I'd known to be able to say, you know what, I'm feeling really crappy, or I'm feeling like I can't be in authenticity doing stuff tonight. I wish I'd known that I could say in the middle of a scene, I'm tired. I wish I'd known to say, I'm feeling like we went over my comfort level there, or that's not my skill set. I can say no. You can say no and still be, in fact, probably be a better rigger for it. Ask your partners for information and listen to it. I wish I'd known early on that saying things like, how are you doing in there? And then actually listen when they said, it's being tough. To be able to ask follow-up questions like, what does tough look like for you? Or, tell me more about that. Or, is it being tough emotionally or physically? Is it being tough in a, are you toughing this out for me, or do you like toughing it out? When a partner says to me, it's being tough to not say, don't be a pussy. Unless that's our relationship, unless I know that that gets my partner turned on. And if my partner says to me, I really need to move, instead of saying things like, just breathe from your diaphragm, saying things like, can you breathe from your diaphragm and work through this, or should I get you done? I wish I'd not shut people down as much, because it led to people not wanting to give me information. And I could have better scenes for the future and not have as much resentment when I have that information presented to me and when I'm actually listening to them instead of making assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Seriously. Just because you see someone with a bag full of rope or who has lots of photos on their website doesn't mean they've actually been doing rope as a bottom for a long time, doesn't mean they're flexible. Just because somebody's 400 pounds doesn't mean that they can't put their hands behind their back. Just because somebody's 80 pounds doesn't mean they can. You are not psychic. Do not make assumptions. I have made too many assumptions about people's expertise around their bodies, and I wish somebody had said to me, you're not psychic. You're not God. You don't know everything. Find out. Figure it out. You're not psychic. Cutting rope off doesn't make you a bad top. In fact, it makes you a better top. Because it shows your partner that you're willing to take care of their safety. And saying, I am choosing to cut this rope off is better than you made me cut this rope off because you passed out. Which makes your partner feel like a shithead. Which makes your partner feel like it's their fault. And there's going to be a complex there because your partner is a delicate little flower. And so are you. It might be tough to cut off rope. That's what I encourage if you do something like that, or if a scene goes wrong, whatever wrong means, get back on the horse. Get back at it. If it's that night, if you can, by saying, you know what, we had to cut that rope, or you know what, it's crappy that, that thing happened, whatever that thing is. It's crappy that I didn't tie that knot in the way that I wanted to. It's tough that I didn't notice that was being a problem. How do you feel about really tying your wrists together and having a snuggle? The hardcore snuggling scene can be pretty hot. Or what do you feel about keeping it simple next time? How do we do it this time connecting? How do you feel about keeping your nose against this wall if you and your partner are trusting your bondage skills in that moment? Because keeping somebody's nose against the wall is bondage too. Get back on the horse. Tops, sometimes you will need aftercare. I wish someone had told me early on that I might need aftercare, especially if I've been the bad guy. In role-playing scenes where I have been the evil villain, where I have been the asshole sadist, where even if those are authentic parts of my personality, my desires, having somebody say to me afterwards, whether it's my partner or someone else, you're actually still a good person. You're a good human being. You're okay. You're not that bitch all the time. You're not that asshole all the time. Can you remind me that I'm not that bitch, I'm not that asshole all the time? But maybe after a scene, I'm the one who needs to spend time in the hot tub. I'm the one who needs a massage. I'm the one who needs somebody to ball me up in a fuzzy blanket and bring me some truffles. And sometimes that means taking care of my bottom first, and then taking care of me myself. Or maybe it's telling my partner, oh, you want to curl up? How about we curl up together? Or maybe that's going to be, I want you, my slave girl. I want you, my submissive girl. I want you, my delicious object. I want you to go get us some food and come back here. We're letting them coil up, right? If your partner is a service-oriented person, let them fulfill some of their needs too. But start listening to them and listening to yourself. And number 10, my number 10 for you is get your needs met. I wish I'd known that it wasn't just about hearing the list of what my bottom wanted and making their fantasies true. And if that's how you receive a fair energetic exchange, awesome, do it. But there's a lot of us who don't, who go into a service top mode, who don't want to be service tops. Being a service top is excellent. But if that's not what you are, if how you get your needs met is by being a sadist, if how you get your needs met is by being a forced cuddler, if how you get your needs met is getting to have your partner say, I love you, and go and get your needs met. And if what your needs met are is to have a hot, horny time, and all you want to do with bondage is to tie someone's hands down to a bed and have a hot scene that way, getting your sexy on, do it. Communicate it in advance what your needs are. Don't try to sneak them in the middle of it, where you and your partner negotiated for it to not have any sex in the middle of it, and instead to get your needs met, you sneak it in because they won't notice at this point because they're in subspace. No, you break trust that way. You get a bad name either with your partner or with the world at large. That's not going to get your needs met in the long term. Get your needs met by stating it up front, or by soul searching with yourself and figuring creative ways in the middle of scenes to do it without violating anyone's pre-constructed systems, or afterwards. If you figure out in the middle of a scene or 3 days later that it wasn't quite right, figure out why it wasn't quite right. Figure out why it wasn't quite right, and then debrief using I words. I sat with myself and I realized that it was a really hot scene, but I wish I'd thought to ask you if we could have some sort of sexual element. I wish I'd thought to ask that it could involve some heavy leather collars or some sort of collar in general, because I find collars hot. I wish I'd thought to do X, Y, and Z. Can we do it next time? Let's make it even better next time. If I had somebody sit down with me and tell me only 10 things, that would be it. My name is Lee Harrington, and I hope you go out and have fun with your bondage. Whether it's a mummy sack you zip someone into, whether it's pressing someone's nose against the floor, whether it's decorative ropework, sensual stuff, stringing somebody up in the air, putting them down on the ground, or that forced, hard, hot cuddling scene. Be you. Be authentic. Figure out what your needs are and get it met. Because really, at the end of the day, this is your journey. It's not anyone else's.